फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Hello everyone, you are watching Cricket Next. I am Surama Kaushik. Today is a really important game for Delhi Capitals. The last time they played in Vizag, they won the game. They started off the tournament with a win against Chennai Super Kings. Before that, they were on a streak of losing games, and they weren't winning. They had a lot of issues, but the last game was something that gave confidence to the Delhi Capital side. But today they'll be facing Kolkata Knight Riders. Now, KKR haven't lost any game in this tournament. They have been unbeaten, and now they have won the toss and they have opted to bat first. The last time when we saw DC and CSK in Vizag, DC opted to bat, and we saw what happened. DC won the game at the end. Now, KKR will be batting first. Will the result change and DC will again face a defeat in this tournament? Well, who knows? Let's talk it out with Keshu Nivasrao, Network 18 Group Sports Editor, Taos Rizvi and Sahil Malhotra. What's going to happen in Vizag? Srini, last time when DC played against Chennai Super Kings, we had a chat and, we were talking about how Prithvi Shaw was brought into the 11. He played well. Rishabh Pant also got in some runs, and bowlers enjoyed in Vizag, the new home of DC. But this time around, KKR have won the toss. They've opted to bat first. Do you think something's going to change here for both the teams?
Okay, so let me start with DC. And you mentioned the previous game, and what immediately comes to mind is the show that we did here on Cricket Next. And I clearly remember, when I was asked about DC versus CSK, I thought CSK were clear favorites for that game,
Yeah.
and why not? I mean, they were like kind of blowing hot, and DC, somehow the squad wasn't very convincing to me, the batting order, because I
Yeah.
thought much of the pressure was on the shoulders of David Warner and Mitch Marsh. And by the way, Prithvi Shaw had not played until then. And if you remember DC mentor Saurav Ganguly's quotes in
Yeah.
the media, there was so much of lack of any kind of surety over Prithvi's, I mean, I don't remember the exact quote in verbatim, but it was almost on the lines of Ganguly himself not being sure as to,
No, he
what
said,
was
I
Prithvi's.
remember Shrini, he said that I haven't seen enough of Prithvi Shaw.
There you go. Yeah. So I haven't seen enough of Prithvi Shaw. So that was like kind of, again, I mean, it just added to the mystery. And then
Hmm.
suddenly you have a Prithvi who comes, kind of opens and looks good. And
Hmm.
suddenly you see how mind works. Suddenly I've started to look at DC a little differently. I'm not saying that they're a completely changed squad, but with Prithvi coming in and getting those runs, suddenly I want to believe that there is a bit of cushion there for Warner and Mitch Marsh.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would like to see if Prithvi Shaw. So here is, the answer to a riddle in one way at least. How Prithvi Shaw bats up the order will have
Hmm.
a very, very important impact on
Hmm.
DC's chances to whatever extent.
Hmm. Well, with the two pink t-shirts, I'm actually confused whether today is RR match or not, but it actually helps me understand that we are definitely having some great RR fans over here. But it's DC versus KKR, so we'll go to Sahil. And Sahil, I know that everywhere it's getting pink, the streets are getting painted pink and all because RR have managed to win all the games, but so KKR have also won the two games that they have played. It's their chance to win this one as well. Now, I want to know what's changed in the KKR side. Do you think this Gambhir and Shreyas Iyer duo is working really well for the team?
I think the big change and the positive is how Gambhir has managed to get the best out of the two Caribbean players who were like blowing hot and cold in the last couple of seasons. That's Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell. Just look at what
Hmm.
Andre Russell has already done, and Sunil Narayan opening the innings in the last game, just taking RCB to the cleaners. I think that was a big positive for them because they had struggled to get that opening act right. They tried Gurbaz, they tried Jagdishan, they tried Venkatesh Iyer in the last couple of seasons. That didn't quite work ever since Shubman Gill vacated that position for reasons which are mysterious to everyone out there why Shubman was, not held back. So ever since then, I think the opening was a big issue for them. They kind of did get a good middle order there with Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku Singh, Andre Russell. But I think opening act was missing. So now Phil Salt, Sunil Narayan, Venkatesh Iyer, that makes a very good top three. And then you have the middle order. I hope Mitchell Stark kind of delivers for the amount of money which has been spent on him, and Visakhapatnam, the kind of swing which we saw in the last game where DC bowlers, Khalil Ahmed in particular, he was making
Yeah.
the ball talk under lights. So I think आज थोड़ा help मिलेगा उसको, movement मिलेगा. But
Stark
Appa
still doesn't
sahi,
have a wicket, right?
yeah, he's wicketless. 8 overs, close to 100 runs if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And Mayank
And
Yadav, 20 lakh, has 6 wickets.
well, Mayank Yadav has got a very different and an interesting story altogether. But as Sahil mentioned about, the 11 and the batting order, Taus, it's so interesting to see Sunil Narayan, opening up at times. In past few years, we also saw him that he's so flexible. He comes out to bat at different positions. But the way he batted against RCB, he made his mark. He showcased that what he has got and, how effective he can be when he opens the innings or he comes top the order. And I think that's the beauty of the KKR side. But when we're talking about KKR's issues that we have discussed in our previous live shows as well, that there has been a case with KKR that on a given day we really can't bank on each and every batter. There are some great days of a couple of batters and they make you win the match, and that has been a case with KKR in almost all the seasons. Perhaps this season has been a bit better for them, that they have done well in the bowling front as well. But given you have Shreyas Iyer and others around, how do you see the complete lineup now when you have already seen this side having two victories in the bank?
Sunil Narayan, you were talking about Sunil Narayan.
Mm.
Like, remember how he started, how he got the job of opening the innings. I mean, the way he
Yeah.
started, it was like convincing. He's made for his kind of batting. His attacking style is made for power play. वो मुझे पता नहीं क्यों नीचे आ गया. And
Mm.
Phil Salt complements him. So these two batters, they complement each other in power plays. And look at, I mean, this guy is a Phil Salt. We know what he can do. He's a proper batsman. This guy is a lagi to lagi lottery kind of a batsman, Sunil Narayan. So it's a
Yeah.
proper kind of a opening star, pair. Which how KKR should start with, or exactly अगर click हुआ है तो इसको आप, it's like you cannot stop him, stop
Yeah.
them actually. But I'm worried about their middle order. Venkatesh Iyer,
Mm.
Shreyas Iyer. These two Iyers, I mean, the consistency that I want from them is yet to be seen. I mean, आपने
Yeah.
शुरुआत में देखा श्रेयस अय्यर कैसे स्टार्ट किया, अभी भी वो कन्विंसिंग नहीं लग रहा, अभी वो लीडर जैसे होना चाहिए वो नजर नहीं आ रहे. इट्स मोर ऑफ गंभीर दैन श्रेयस अय्यर who's having all the say, who's having all the the confidence of the whole life. But
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer, coming from that test match failure, coming from the whole scenario of being dropped from the contract and all these things, is affecting him. And finally, Abhi, it's a good sign that he's coming back into form. 39 runs is still a good score when it comes to T20 cricket. And then you have a Gautam Gambhir who keeps on giving you those motivational talks. वो कुछ ना कुछ तो मतलब ऑन द टोज रखेंगे आपको. आप कैप्टन हो है तो क्या हुआ, आप अभी भी उनके लिए मतलब पूरे टीम के लिए नॉर्मल प्लेयर ही हैं. तो वो
Hmm.
एक, और अय्यर, अदर अय्यर, वेंकटेश अय्यर, आई मीन he made it to the Indian team, but then it was the consistency that put question mark on him, and that was one of the reasons why he was dropped. Again, यहाँ फिर से साइंस शो कर रहे कि यार ये बंदे में अभी भी है. तो शुरुआत तो अच्छी दे दी उन्होंने. 50 runs is not bad for in 30 balls. बट देन यहाँ पर ये दो स्लॉट है ना, ये श्रेयस अय्यर एंड वेंकटेश अय्यर, वहां पर मैं वरीड हूँ. उसके बाद नीचे रिंकू सिंह and Andre Russell, we know what these guys can do and they have
Yeah.
proven themselves. So it's a good a good opening pair and a good lower middle order to finish the game. Middle order is a concern which is, I'm like, it's quite a concern which KKR will be worried about. अगर ये इफेक्ट आ गया, ये थोड़ा बहुत कंसिस्टेंसी आ गया, थोड़ा बहुत डोमिनेंस आ गया ना, तो यार it's one of the teams to watch out for in the playoffs right now. तो मुझे लगता है
Actually,
बैटिंग में तो आई एम वेरी कन्विंस्ड.
yeah. Actually, you said it very rightly, Taus. Their opening pair is quite strong, and then they have the power hitters in Rinku Singh and Russell. And obviously, they are really, really power packed players, and they can get you maximum runs when needed. But Srini, let's talk about KKR's bowling as well. Sahil mentioned about Stark. Stark's not been firing in, and obviously, for the amount of monies that money that he's got in his bank, everybody is quite interested to know that when he'll fire. But then there is Mitchell Stark, then you have Varun Chakravarti. Their bowling aside isn't that strong. With Harshit Rana, the highest wicket taker for them, he's taken 5 so far for the team. How do you see their bowling?
Well, the first thing first is obviously so it's like having an elephant in the room which is refusing to move. So it takes up a lot of space. You have an elephant not just in terms of reputation. You have an elephant in terms of the money that's been spent on it. It's quite a heavy elephant, quite an accomplished elephant. And if an
Yeah,
elephant of that stature refuses to move, trust me, things can get very, very difficult because psychologically it'll begin to play. Now look at the rest of the attack. The rest of the attack, which KKR has been banking on. If I were to go, the previous game, the one that they played against
hmm.
Bangalore, right?
Yeah, RCB.
Yeah, RCB. So if you look at the rest of the attack, it's a relatively inexperienced attack. Like barring
Hmm.
Nareen, you have the Chakravarti, you have Roy, you have Rana, Harshit Rana,
Yeah.
a relatively inexperienced attack. Now imagine in a dressing room where you have an elephant like Mitchell Stark, who's not going anywhere with
Hmm.
the ball, and then you suddenly have a young attack that is looking up to you. Things can get pretty difficult. So from that standpoint, I would say that it's imperative that Stark gets going.
Yeah.
The sooner he gets going, the more it's going to have an effect on the youngsters in the dressing room, and I think it's just going to spill over. That confidence bit is just going to spill over. That said, Andre Russell, something seems to, I don't know what is it. Has Gautam Gambhir had a chat with him? What is it? Because he definitely comes across as a guy who's, I mean, kind of has a strong mind of his own. And maybe then and with with these players from the Caribbean, a lot
Yeah.
hinges on friendship, a lot hinges on who they believe, personally trust in, and how well they get along. Now, something there needs to have been some kind of a chemistry between Gotham and Nareen and Andre, in a way that it has propelled Andre to come back into the scheme of things. Whether it's with the bat or whether it's with the ball. I think he was the second or most economical bowler in the previous game. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, was he? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but he had good figures. He had
Yeah.
he had he had good
Good.
figures in there.
And yeah, something has been changed in Andre Russell. Last
I think
season,
that's
he
Gautam
was.
Gambhir. I can't think of any other factor. Suddenly you have
Yeah.
this guy who, Purane dost mil baithe hain kind of a thing is happening at KKR maybe. I don't know. I mean, like, what else? Because I really was thinking that, what an underperformer he had become. Like, after being the kind of
Yeah.
match winner that he had been, last couple of seasons, things are not just going anywhere for KKR. And
Yeah.
suddenly these two guys, absolute match winners in their own right, seem to have
Yeah.
gotten back the zing. I don't know what is it. Maybe they think that if they don't do well this season, next year is the mega auction. Probably careers might end. So who knows?
Mm.
They're just trying to prolong their careers. I don't know. But let me be polite. I'm saying good things are happening with Andre, like kind of being there. But Stark needs to get the ball to talk. The more that
Yeah.
happens, that confidence will spill over to the Ranas and the Roys and the Chakravartis, and automatically, I mean, it's going to kind of spill into something good.
Yeah. No, all eyes will be on Stark because he hasn't been firing in this tournament. And that's a really very big question that, when a franchisee has put in so much money in a player and then you expect great performances as well. But so far it
Money
has.
is
Hmm,
secondary, but also the kind of, it's a very big name. So a name of
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
stature inside the dressing room, you expect things to.
But
Yeah.
Money
that is
becomes
also the beauty of IPL, na Srini bhai. That is the beauty of IPL. You will have this is Indian
no,
Premier
no,
League. You will
money is
have
important.
first class players.
No,
So
no,
I
no.
mean
Money is important. I'm not kind of
no.
suggesting
I'm not
money
talking
is.
about the money.
Huh.
No, I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the inexperienced side. So the experienced guys, the superstars, you'll have to, tag along with the inexperienced, the people who are like making their debut or trying to make it to, impress people. So that is where that is the beauty. Like, आपको उनके साथ ही करना और करना है. You have no options.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that is
Yep.
something like,
Yep.
Hmm. No, even in the world of cricket, Mitchell Stark is a really very big name, and that's why you expect great performances. And the way KKR have gotten him in this lineup, we're really looking forward how Mitchell Stark will perform today. Well, let's have a look at DC side as well. DC also made one change today because Mukesh Kumar is injured, so they got in Sumit Kumar. Now, Sahil, all in all, it's the same lineup. How do you see this lineup? In the earlier shows that we were discussing DC before the CSK game, we were all on the same page that DC was too dependent on David Warner and Mitchell Marsh. But with Prithvi Shaw coming in, the way he played in the last match, made 40 odd runs against CSK, and he was quite disappointed also the way he got out and he walked back. How do you see? Do you think that Prithvi Shaw's this incoming to the team has changed something?
I think more than Prithvi Shaw, what I'm worried about today is that there's no Mukesh Kumar. So Mukesh Kumar was bowling a tough overs in the last game. He came
Yeah,
into bowl to, I think, in the 14th or 15th over, picked up a couple of wickets straight away, made instant impact. So I think that is going to be a big loss today. And Rasikdar Dar Salam, Ishan Sharma, Khalil Ahmed, Sumit Kumar. Sumit Kumar has done the tough job for Haryana in the domestic circuit, but that's like Haryana, right? This is Delhi
yeah.
Capital. This is a different beast altogether, and it will take
Hmm.
some time for these players to get used to the IPL. So what DC are missing today is bowling good bowlers at the death, and a lot would be dependent on Anrik Nokia because they've used Khalil straight away in the power play. 2 to 3 overs he's bowling in the
Yeah,
power play. He's not bowling too much in the death. He's making the ball talk, the new ball. So I think death bowling is going to be a concern today. So they need to figure out who is going to pair up with Anrik Nokia towards the fag end of the innings, and inclusion of Prithvi Shaw, again, talented player. Always you always want to see him bat. That kind of that edge of the seat kind of batter, kind of does things so differently and looks so pleasing to the eye. But what impressed me the most in the last game was for the first 2 overs when the ball was moving, when the ball was being jagging here and there against
yeah,
CSK. First 2 overs, the approach was so tight from Prithvi Shaw. That was something which was missing earlier. वो आके बैट हर चीज पे बैट फेंक देता था, पर 2 ओवर में डीसी का कुछ 12 या 13 रन था. Prithvi Shaw wasn't ready to throw his wicket away. He wanted to
hmm,
be in there. He missed first couple of games. बहुत अलग अलग वर्ड्स आ रहे थे डीसी कैंप से कि नेट पे अच्छा बैटिंग नहीं कर रहा, जब अच्छा बैटिंग
yeah,
करेगा इसको खिला देंगे. मिशेल मार्श एंड डेविड वार्नर हैव बीन सक्सेसफुल फॉर ऑस्ट्रेलिया. रिकी बुई इज डूइंग well in the middle order, but I think now sense has prevailed. Ricky Bui is back on the bench. Prithvi Shaw is in the 11. Hope he
yeah,
gets a consistent run because by the time Delhi come back to the Arun Jaitley Stadium for their 5 home games, Prithvi Shaw's consistency and run at the top of the order will hold them in good stead for those 5 home games. I'm not counting the Vizag games as the home games, because
hmm.
these are not home games. I don't know why they're even playing in Visakhapatnam. अब अभी तक विकेट तैयार हो जाता. They should have played there.
Okay, Srini has something to say about that.
Why they're playing in Visakhapatnam is because obviously, the owners have a connect, so they see that as a part of their home also. So they were looking for a long opportunity an opportunity to see if Visakhapatnam would be available to them at some point. And
Hmm.
I truly believe that stuff like this should be encouraged in IPL, where it allows you to go and find a new home for yourself, and kind of create some kind of a fan base there. But
Hmm.
although because it's Delhi going all the way to Andhra, that connect looks way too far and stretched, but then it's coming
Yeah.
from the ownership space. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
That's the reason why DC are playing at the Visakhapatnam Stadium. Well, talking about Prithvi Shaw, I also want to talk about him in a bit more detail with you, because I remember the last time we were having a chat around Prithvi Shaw, you said that you're not liking his body language, and body language also plays a lot of role, as a cricketer, and how your body behaves, how you walk into the ground, how you play shots. So cricket is one side, and then your body language, your fitness is something different. I remember that thing, while we were watching some visuals of Prithvi Shaw on our screen. Now, you must have seen Shaw in the last match against CSK. I'll reiterate my point that he scored some 40 odd runs and he looked good. Sahil, as he was talking about, and he wasn't looking to throw away his wicket. Now, given those 2 points, do you see a change in Prithvi Shaw, and do you think that this season might be something very different for him?
He's massively talented, yaar. Imagine with that kind of, that kind of physique, and then, with that, attitude, he still go on to whack bowlers all around the pack. He is massively talented, gifted. I mean, और ऐसे गिफ्टेड बंदे को क्या करना चाहिए यार, फोकस करना चाहिए गेम पे और नेक्स्ट लेवल देखना चाहिए कि भाई आई एम मैं उसी के लिए बना हूं, which he is not doing. अच्छा, by the way, so I was having a chat with a cricketer who's close to Prithvi. He's like, तो उसने मैं I asked him, भाई ये what is the problem है यार, ये क्या
कि
मसला क्या
क्या
है?
चल रहा है?
हाँ, बोले क्या चल रहा है? I mean, he's involved in a lot of controversies off the field. बात हो रही है इसकी, ऑन फील्ड ज्यादा बातें नहीं हो रही है, क्या चल रहा है? Is he concerned about it? बोले यार उसको प्रॉपर कंपनी नहीं है, प्रॉपर गाइडेंस नहीं है, ये नहीं, बट देसी कैंप वाले उसको बहुत लाइक करते हैं. I mean, सौरव गांगुली स्टिल, आई वाज सरप्राइज यार, बट स्टेटमेंट तो कुछ और दिया बंदे ने कि यार सौरव गांगुली लास्ट व्हिच वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, यार कुछ और बोला. नहीं नहीं, ये वो बैक करेंगे उसको. अरे दिस वाज बिफोर दिस गेम, हाँ, बिफोर द लास्ट गेम. बोले वो बैक करेंगे उसको, खिलाएंगे. हाँ, बिफोर द लास्ट गेम ही स्कोर्ड 43. वो बैक करेंगे, उसको लाइक करता है सौरव गांगुली. और ये बोला यार खिलाए क्यों नहीं, फिर ऐसी बात क्यों कर. नहीं, बोले नहीं, दे लव हिम बिकॉज़ दे लव. तुम ऑफ फील्ड कुछ भी करो, ऑन फील्ड जाके तुम अपने गेम को रिस्पेक्ट दो, स्कोर करो, बाकी तुमको जो करना है करो. आई मीन ऑब्वियसली वैसा होना ही चाहिए कि मतलब उनको कंसर्न नहीं होना चाहिए कि ऑफ द फील्ड क्या कर रहा है बंदा, ऑन फील्ड क्या कर रहा है. सो दैट इज व्हाट ही सेड. और मुझे एंड देन ही स्कोर्ड दैट 43 रन्स. तो मतलब सडनली वेयर वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, यार ये बंदा, यार इसको चांस नहीं मिल रहा और नहीं मिलेगा, मुझे लगता है इनको मिलेगा. एंड देन सडनली ही गेट दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी. सो वी नो द काइंड ऑफ टैलेंट दैट ही इज, एंड एवरीबॉडी रियलाइजेस कि यार फील्ड पे फेंक दो इसको, ये कुछ भी करेगा और ये निकाल के देगा. व्हाटएवर फिटनेस, व्हाटएवर बॉडी लैंग्वेज, व्हाटएवर स्टाइल ही प्लेज, he can do whatever he wants on field. That kind of attack, that kind of talent he is. But also the other thing, I mean, also I spoke the last time कि यार ऋषभ पंत नंबर 4 के लिए नहीं बना है because आप वो नहीं कर पाता है, वो आपको बॉल ज्यादा कंज्यूम हो जाता है. So he can play in the power play. The thing is that good that he came at number 3. Good, they have a good batting lineup in batting order, top order in Prithvi Shaw and Warner, followed by Rishabh Pant, Mitchell Starc. अब यहाँ पर सेट हो गया, विच इज फाइन, जैसे होना चाहिए था. आई वुड हैव प्रेफर लाइक एक बार ऋषभ पंत को ट्राई किया था ओपनिंग में, बट नंबर 3 स्टिल बेटर फॉर क्रिकेटर लाइक हिम, एन अटैकिंग बैट्समैन लाइक हिम हु लाइक्स टू प्ले इन एन अग्रेसिव विद इंटेंट. So I think this is still a proper lineup, and Prithvi, I guess he will keep on playing in his own style. यार मुझे लगता नहीं कि कितना वो, unless he himself realizes अंदर से कि यार मुझे I have that firepower to play for India, I want to become the next big thing. मुझे बात किया and then वो self realization होना important है. अगर वो नहीं आया तो मुझे लगता नहीं कि यार दिल्ली बहुत दूर है यार, अभी भी दिल्ली में होने के बाद भी.
ओके, खैर ऋषभ पंत की बात निकली है तो साहिल से बात कर लेते हैं हम ऋषभ पंत के बारे में, बिकॉज पहले के कुछ मैचेस में ऋषभ पंत पे ज्यादा बात नहीं हुई साहिल से. साहिल wasn't available with us on those live shows. Sahil, when Rishabh Pant came to bat against Punjab Kings, that was the first match of Delhi Capitals. He scored 18 runs. In the second match, he scored 26 of 28. And in the match against CSK, he scored 51 of some 30 odd balls, I think 32 to be precise. Now, looking at this, the whole number game, looking at those numbers, a lot of people are saying that, Rishabh Pant is taking a lot of time in this format. He's not the Rishabh Pant that we want to see, despite him missing on cricket action for around 1.5 years. Okay. What's your take? Do you think that people should leave Rishabh Pant the way he is, the way he is going? And what's your thinking around Rishabh Pant? I want to know.
For a boy who has fast tracked his recovery progress from 24 months to 16 months, I think the least we can do is allow him the time to ease himself back into cricket. And those first two games were enough sample size to kind of get a sense around his batting. And I was speaking to Srini a couple of days back. We were discussing about the T20 World Cup spots. I
Yeah.
mentioned Rishabh Pant. We were not sure, but I kind of did try and convince him then also, the boss, that first two games, no matter he didn't score those runs at a brisk
Yeah.
clip, but he looked very good. And that game against Chennai, those pickup shots of the pads when they start coming from Rishabh's bat, when he starts getting those pickups, which kind of made him the Rishabh Pant which we all know him to be now. I think that's when you know that he's in the flow. And even if he
Right.
doesn't score bucket loads of runs this season, the importance which he brings to Indian cricket's ecosystem across formats, that's second to none. And he's a national treasure, and we have to kind of give him and allow him the time which he needs to ease himself into international cricket. And he's an example, he's a prime example for the likes of Prithvi Shaw and other players who want to play across formats. This is how you work on fitness. Even when you're down and out, just look at him. This is a different version of Rishabh Pant. He did put
Yeah.
on some weight when he was playing across formats, because you don't really get a lot of time to get those recovery
Yeah.
protocols in when you are playing for the country across formats. But look at him, he has lost weight, he's looking sharp, he's looking fitter. After those surgeries, he's squatting non-stop. So least we can do is give him time. And I have a dirty feeling that he'll be on that flight to the US.
Oh, really? Well, only time will tell. But right now, you mentioned it rightly. Rishabh Pant looks really fit, and I really can't get over that visual where he was angry with the way he batted when he scored those 26 runs of 28 balls. He was so agitated, and then Ricky Ponting calmed him down and said it's all okay. And then he just took a back seat and watched the match. So all those visuals are fresh, and I completely agree with Sahil what he mentioned. At the beginning of his statement that when he has cut down 24 months into 16, obviously something that you really need to give to Rishabh Pant is really respect for his hard work and his perseverance. Also, the way he has worked on himself, the way he's batting, he's also leading the side. So a lot it takes for a cricketer to be in this shape after going through that horrific accident. But we are quite excited to see how Rishabh Pant will play in today's match. The last time he played in Vizag was against Chennai Super Kings. He made that half century. Another half century loading or not, we'll get to know in due course of time in today's match, because right now Kolkata Knight Riders will be batting. But before moving to the live action, I have a couple of comments and would request our producer to please shoot them ASAP so we can answer them. First one's from Sports Fan. What's up with Kuldeep Yadav? Is he still injured? Tal Srini, any update about Kuldeep Yadav?
The same bit. I thought he had that niggle. After that, I haven't heard anything.
Sahil,
Yeah.
anything up?
Otherwise, there's no reason why. Otherwise, there's no reason why Kuldeep would be on the bench on any surface. He has to play every game. There's no reason of him being on the bench if he's not 100%.
Okay. Next one. Do we have another comment? David Warner is the best player in Delhi Capitals. Ravi Shankar, I think for all the DC fans, he's the best player on the field and off the field. Oh my God, David Warner's winning hearts off the field, also on social media. Also, when DC is not playing, you can watch David Warner on social media. You'll get to know what DC is doing and Warner is doing. Any other comment we have? Okay, scoring runs against DC bowlers will be very tough task for KKR batters. We discussed about the lineup of both the teams. I hope you must have heard that conversation. I think that's that for today. Thank you so much, Taus, Sahil, and Srini for joining with me. And let's have fun with the live action that's going on around in Vizag.
फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।